please, sir. Thank you.
Yes, we are on. We can start, President. You need to unmute President and start.
President, kindly proceed. We're ready. Happy Timothy, do you have a challenge?
Yeah, I think he's off the screen.
It's off the network.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's joined back. Yes, President, you can start.
Okay. Let's call the fellowship to order. Good evening, all friends, and welcome to the 7th meeting of RC Ngora Information. We are going to start straight away with the Rotary Grace, led by Apollo Penina.
Good evening, members. The Rotary Grace, let's say the Rotary Grace for food, fellowship, and friendship. We are grateful to you, O Lord, as we deliberate this evening. Make us mindful of the needs of the less fortunate.
Amen. Yes, thank you very much, Apollo Penina. We are going to go marathon, then we proceed with the loyal toast. The loyal toast by Sister Akalo Grace.
So let's be upstanding, members, as we pledge allegiance. Let's hold our chest where the heart beats most. We pledge allegiance to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda. Thank you.
Yes. Let's be still standing. Thank you very much, Sister Carlo Grace. Let's proceed with the four-way test. The four-way test will be done by 2K Carol.
So let us go straight to the four-way test. The four-way test of the things we think. The first one, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Yes, thank you very much, Carol. Let's proceed with the object of Rotary. Object of Rotary will be done by Muzei Ogyelan Ogwelako.
Thank you, members. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular to encourage and foster, one, the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service. Two, high ethical standards in business and professions. The recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Three, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal business and community life. Four, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world Fellowship of Business and Professional Persons united in the ideal of service. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a hand clap. Members, let's be seated. Yes, members, we are going to proceed with the next agenda, which is introduction of the guest speaker. Introduction of a guest speaker will be done by Mr. Ojangole Steve.
Thank you very much, AP Timothy. And hi, everyone. Today I have a task to introduce our guest speaker, who is none other than Rotarian CA, Vijay Narayan Kewalramani. The names are a bit hard. Vijay was born on the 12th of July, 1968. He is a chartered accountant who has practiced for over 30 years in the fields of direct taxation and investigations. He's a qualified Bachelor of Accounts. He also holds LLB, that is laws, LLM, that is a master's in law. He has a FCA. He has a MBA in finance. He has a CMA from Australia, and he has a diploma in IFR from the UK. He has trained the Supreme Court auditors from the country of Afghanistan in fraud detection and risk management. He has authored a book that is entitled Limited Liability Partnerships, Simplified through Question and Answer, published by all the Indian Foundation of Tax Practitioners. He's a prolific speaker, and he has addressed different professional forums across the country of India. He has a number of talks which are professional and non-professional. All of them can be viewed from or listened to from his YouTube channel. His hobbies are traveling, networking, socializing, reading, among others. I hope you will travel to Ngora. In Rotary, he was introduced to Rotary at a very young age of 12 years by his dad, and he became a member, who was a member of the RC Thane East in 1980 to 81. He was a charter president of Rotary Club of Bombay. That was in Bombay East in 1990 to 91, where he won the Best New Club Award in that year. That is what we're aspiring for, isn't it? He joined Rotary in January 2015. He won a Best Rotarian Award in the first 2 years of joining. He was a secretary of RC Thane Haba in 2017-2018. He was a president of the same club 2018-2019. He's currently a member of RC Ushananga. Read 3142. He held various district chair positions over the years, and this year he is serving as a district treasurer. He's also a district national service chair. He's a district fellowship exchange chair. He's also a district inter-country committee chair. He completed RLI graduation and the FOT in 2016. He's widely traveled Rotarian and has attended the different clubs physically from most clubs physically across the country. He has attended over 2,000 Zoom meetings internationally and has friends across the 21 countries in the Rotary world. He's a member of 14 Rotary fellowship groups and 2 Rotary action groups. He's a director on Rotarians on the internet, that is ROTI, that is ROTI, Rotary Fellowship Group. He's a honorary member in 7 clubs in 6 districts and 6 countries. He's a speaker at various Rotary forums and clubs locally and internationally. He's a new advisor, club advisor to the club RC Bushbanesha Flamingo. Is honored to be one of the new non-PDGs who was invited to address a district conference of RID 3262. Something went wrong. He's pinned as a honorary member of the Hands of PRIP, that's PRIP. Is a multiple PHF and a PHS member. His family has a mother, Uma Narayan, who is a housewife and was a charter vice president of the Inner Wheel Club of Thane East. He has a wife, Dr. Gayatri, is an MD microbiology and MPhil, and is working with a multinational company in a senior management position, and is his backbone. He has a son who is studying law, and he is also a Rotaractor, and is also a charter member of a newly formed Rotary Club of Thane Titans. His wife and son are both are PHF, and also his late father was a PHF. His social life and professional affiliations is associated with various social and professional bodies. He is a professional associations. He's a national treasurer of All Indian Federation of Tax Practitioners. He's a past president of Tax Practitioners Association. He's a past president of Tax Friends Association. He's a steering committee member of Institute of Certified Management Accountants of Australia. He's a member of various national and international associations. He's an advisory board member of Emerald Planet International Foundation, Washington, D.C. He's a director, Pro-Humane Afrique International, Ghana. He's a president of American Institute. He's a managing trustee of Sahiti Panchayat, Mumbai. He holds various positions. Members, welcome with me our speaker of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, AP Timothy, and good evening, friends. It gives me a pleasure to come today before you and try and explain the foundation today. And yours being a new club, it is always important to understand the foundation, that is the base of Rotary. And it is important to understand the foundation. I would just share my screen first. Give me 1 minute. Is my screen visible? CP Kate, is it visible?
Yes, it is. Thank you, PP.
Thank
It's visible. Thank you.
Friends, Rotary Foundation, when we join Rotary, we hear about the TRF, Rotary Foundation. So what is Rotary Foundation? And you being a new club, it is very important to understand what is Rotary Foundation and why do we need Rotary Foundation. So before going into what is Rotary Foundation, let us understand the motto of Rotary Foundation on which Rotary Foundation works. The motto of Rotary Foundation is doing good in the world. So what they plan is doing good in the world. How it is done? Then the Rotary Foundation has a mission statement. The mission statement of Rotary Foundation is to enable Rotarians to enable advance world understanding, goodwill and peace through the improvement of health, the support of education and the elevation of poverty. So what basically, friends, Rotary Foundation does is it tries and supports the 7 focus areas. And also, apart from that, it also helps in the world understanding goodwill and maintaining peace across the world. We'll be looking into the uses and how it moves about the Rotary Foundation in the near slides. Let us first understand the history, how it happened about Rotary Foundation. It was started in 1917 by Rotary International 6th President R.C. Clum as an endowment fund for Rotary to do good in the world. He started with an initial contribution of $26.5. So that's what we can see, that today we have a R. Clum Society membership, which is given at $250,000. So if you contribute around $250,000 and in multiples thereof, you become a R. Clum Society member, and it is in the memory of the 6th president of Rotary International, R. Clum, who started the Rotary Foundation with a contribution of $26.5. Although Rotary started in 1905, but it started in 1917 with this contribution. The foundation was formally named the Rotary Foundation at the Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA convention in 1928. Although the funds started accumulating from 1917, but the name Rotary Foundation was given at the Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA convention in 1928. My slides are moving, I believe. There's no problem with the slides, right?
No problem, PP. Kindly proceed.
Yeah. So what are the sources of support? Everything that we say the foundation, but ultimately we need the funds. What are the sources of support? So what does, before moving into the sources of support, now I would come to the utilization of Rotary. Rotary, friends, has played a big role. All of you are aware that polio disease was very dreaded, and recently, just 2 years back, the last cases from Nigeria, it has been eliminated from your neighboring country, Nigeria. And it is just remaining in only 2 countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan. If you see, and this started, how did polio start? it was the idea of brainchild of a Rotary Club of Manila. And they started the idea, which was taken up by the local government and the local district over there. And ultimately, Rotary International joined in, and they joined hands with Eradicate Polio Initiative. And this is how the polio vaccination program of Rotary started in way back in 1985. We'll be looking into this in detail. It is dedicated to global polio eradication. So what they did is, we have a Polio Plus Fund, which is dedicated to global polio eradication. Then we have an annual fund, which we normally give, the donations that we are giving normally, that's the PHF and all. Basically, it is the main source of funding, and this is the annual fund, which is ultimately distributed to us as a grant and funding for various activities and various projects and programs that we do. The third is the Endowment Fund, which supports the foundation in perpetuity. That is, if you create an endowment fund, the earnings out of the fund are used for the purpose for which the fund is created. The fund remains in a deposit or an annuity form. It remains with the foundation, and only the earnings out of the endowment fund are used for this purpose. So what is the Polio Plus Fund? Let us understand. It was started in 1985. As I told you, it started with the Rotary Club of Manila giving an idea, and then taken up by Rotary International in 1985. It primarily support of global efforts to end polio. It is instrumental in starting the Global Polio Eradication Initiative by the World Health Assembly in 1988. So basically, because Rotary started it, then the World Health Assembly took it ahead and they created the Global Polio Eradication Initiative. And when it was going, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, one of the biggest foundation, they started supporting the campaign of Polio Plus by Rotary International by giving a US $100 million challenge in 2007. They said that we would contribute $100 million if the Rotarians collect an equal amount in a limited period. And to their dismay, the Rotarians collected the amount in a much earlier period, and they were all the more willing to give. And now what happens, friends, is for every $1 that we contribute to the Polio Plus Fund, it is matched by $2 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And then the Rotary Foundation again matches it one-on-one. So every dollar that you give to the Polio Plus Fund goes to become $6. And that $6 is ultimately used for the polio vaccination eradication. And friends, it is important to understand why did a foundation like Bill and Melinda Gates try and come and support Rotary. They had their own foundation. They could have directly given to the polio fund, polio eradication purposes. But as happens in other NGOs and here, they knew that if they would have spent directly, they might have ended up paying around 25% to 40% in the administrative cost, that is the salaries and managing office and all that. Whereas in Rotary, our average costs are between 2 to 5%. So 95%, 95 to 98% of the amount donated goes actually to the beneficiaries. Whereas if you give to another charity, maybe your Red Cross, maybe to UNESCO, wherever you give, 25 to 40% of their expenses go in administrative expenses. So hardly 60 to 75% go to the actual beneficiary. That is why Rotary has become very important. Moreover, the Charity Navigator, the website which gives ratings to various charity organizations, has been giving Rotary a 4-star, that is the topmost navigation for the past 13 years, which is again a credit. It means that Rotary has been working for the beneficiaries. The Rotary Foundation actually is spending for the actual beneficiaries. And as I told you, 95 to 98% of the funds actually go to the beneficiaries. That's why even Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they thought of and they have contributed to the Rotary through the Rotary Foundation. Then we come to the annual fund, the primary funding source for foundation grants and activities. Basically, whatever amount we are giving, we have been hearing that it gets back. So what happens is, whatever amount the district gives in, say, current year, 50% of that will come back in the third year, which can be spent by the district by way of district grants as well as support of the district in global grants. And the other 50% goes to the global fund, from where whenever we are applying for the global grants, we get the funds for the global grants. So this is annual fund is the basic primary source. Earlier, what used to happen was you give now 50% used to come back. Now there's a deduction of 5% administration charges. So 47.5% comes back to the district in the third year, which can be used for the district grants. So it becomes all the more important to donate to the Rotary Foundation. The more you donate, the more the district gets it back, and the more the district will be helpful to help you by way of district grants and contributions to the global grant, and so on and so forth. So it supports the local and international grants through the share system, which I have tried to explain you in a bit because we are going into the introduction part, the basics of Rotary Foundation. I am not going into the technicalities of the share system. The contributions are directly credited to the individual donor and the donors club and are applied for the club and district annual goals. Moreover, the recognitions are given based on these annual fund and Polio Plus contributions to individual donors as well as the districts. We will be looking at the contributions and the recognitions that we get by donating to annual fund or Polio fund or the Rotary Foundation in general through other funds, through other means. The recognition that we get, it acts as an incentive. And the third one that we discussed was the endowment fund. The contributions that you give towards the endowment fund, it starts with an initial contribution of $25,000. It can either be given by a single person or a group of persons, like say 9213 may contribute an endowment fund towards a particular person, and then members may join together by donating $1,000 each. And that way 25 people come together, they start an endowment fund. That can be minimum 25,000 and it can go higher. Then the funds are invested and the returns out of the funds are used for the purpose for which it is invested. So endowment fund has to be of minimum 25,000 each, but it can be contributed by one person or a group of persons, can be a corporate, can be a district as a whole, can be a club as a whole. If a club can create an endowment fund for a particular project or a particular purpose, so whatever they give to the endowment fund, the contributions, the returns, they can utilize for that purpose. Only the earnings out of the investments are spent. Again, it offers the donors a way to create their own lasting legacy through Rotary. As I said, it can be created by individual persons, it can be created by organizations, it can be created by a club as a whole. So the clubs, say Rotary Club of Ngora, it will remain for life if you create an endowment fund. So it will remain for life in the Rotary Foundation records. Mode of the contributions, it can be outright gift of cash or investment or other properties. As I said, outright gift of cash through $25,000 cumulatively or individually, or you can transfer investments worth that amount or other properties worth that amounts in the name of Rotary Foundation, and then the earnings out of that. So if you transfer investments, so the dividends and all that we get out of those investments are used for expenses, and if you transfer properties, it can be the earnings through by way of rent and all, which can be transferred. It can be life income gifts, that is charitable gift entities, pooled income funds. It can be given by that way also. Testamentary gifts through gifts, wills or estate plans can also be given. So supposing a person can only declare that, okay, today I don't want to give, but I am putting it as part of my bequest in my will. So this amount will go to the Rotary Foundation for the endowment fund. That is also acceptable. So after the person's death, that amount is transferred out of his estate to the Rotary Foundation and the endowment fund is created. Then it can also be through beneficiary of life insurance, retirement plan account or other financial accounts. So you can create an annuity fund and you can say that this much that annuity fund will be treated as an endowment fund and that amount will be utilized. Now we can see the end uses. The end uses, the Polio fund, as we have seen, it is the Polio Plus program. Unfortunately, now we have been seeing cases coming out in the US, New York, because of maybe the laxity of some of the people in taking the virus seriously, and maybe in the near future, near past, they might not have administered the polio vaccination. So friends, even though polio is not there in your country or in the neighborhood, please ensure that this vaccination program continues and all the children below 5 are given the polio plus vaccination on schedule in time as we have been doing. Otherwise, this ultimately is a virus. It can anytime recur, as we can see instances coming out in Mozambique and reported from New York. The other usage is the Rotary 7 areas of focus. Major global grants are going on in, you can see material health, peace, global peace. Rotary has been playing a very big role in international understanding and peace through peace ambassadors, the peace fellowships and all. Then we have the other environment, the recent one, SRAC, has been doing very beautifully. I think Rotary Club of Sonde has started a maternity home project, which they are trying for global grant. Again, I know a club in USA, Rotary Club of Huntington Beach. They have joined with a local club in Kampala, Gwarimpa, I believe. They have joined for a maternity project through global grants. So this is how the Rotary Foundation helps, that once you give it, the local club might have contributed some amount, the Huntington Beach Club is contributing some amount, and both the districts have contributed some amount, and the Rotary Foundation also matches some amount, and that way they have gone into a project of maternal health. Rotary Peace Fellowships, as I told you, Rotary is sponsoring around 130 fellowships every year, 80 to the diploma side, that is 1 year course, and 50 master's course, that is 3 years peace fellowship program. People are invited. This is only for non-Rotarians from various fields who can take up, and people are invited. They are given training at Rotary's cost. Rotary Foundation funds all the training, right from travel, stay, and lecturing and every fellowship, everything. After that, they are sent for internship to areas where it is required, and ultimately they are posted at areas where peace is required. So this is a good initiative that Rotary has taken for world understanding and peace. Friends, it is important to note that Rotary was one of the 42 organizations which was instrumental and invited for before the formation of the United Nations. So Rotary has been involved all through in international peace and understanding. Now we come to, having understood the uses and all, we come to the individual recognition that one can get. The first and foremost that we normally all hear is Paul Harris Fellow or multiple Paul Harris Fellow. If you donate $1,000 or somebody else has donated $1,000 and he has accumulated some foundation points, they can transfer in your name or up to 1,000 points, and then you become a Paul Harris Fellow. You get a recognition pin and a certificate. This certificate is given only once, that is when you become the Paul Harris Fellow, and year on year you can continue contributing $1,000 each and get multiple levels, PHF plus 1, 2, 3, and so on up to PHF plus 9. And then once you contribute $10,000, you become a major donor. Rotary Foundation sustaining member. If a member is contributing $100 every year to the Rotary Foundation, he gets a certificate as a Rotary Foundation sustaining member. That is, he is contributing member every year. So all you have to do is just contribute $100 every year to become a Rotary Foundation sustaining member. You need not think about the Paul Harris Fellows and all to start with. But ultimately, friends, it is a good recognition. Paul Harris Fellow, one must strive. Then we have a Paul Harris Society membership. What is Paul Harris Society? Is a member committing to Rotary Foundation that yes, I will put in contribute $1,000 every year for the next 10 years. So if somebody is committing that $1,000 I will commit every year for the next 10 years, he becomes a Paul Harris Society sustaining member. And then when you complete those 10 years, you get a Paul Harris Society pin. Friends, I am a Paul Harris Society sustaining member. I have made 7 contributions, and with 3 more, I would become a full-fledged Paul Harris Society member. Then we have a benefactor member. A benefactor member is one, as I said, if you put in for the Endowment Fund, maybe even $1,000 you contribute to a big endowment fund, or you start your own endowment fund with $25,000. You become a benefactor member and you get a benefactor pin for that. Then there is the concept of bequest society member. We saw during the endowment fund that you can bequest your property in the will to Rotary Foundation, that yes, after my death, this much amount will be bequest to the Rotary Foundation. This has to be a minimum of $10,000 from your will. If you do that, you inform the Rotary Foundation, you become a bequest society member and you get a recognition accordingly. Similarly, the legacy society member recognition. Now we come to the major donor. You can become a major donor by contributing $10,000 to the Rotary Foundation. And that is not required in one stroke. As I said, you become a Polaris Fellow member. You become a Polaris Society member. Every year you start contributing $1,000. The moment you reach $10,000, you become a major donor. And then major donor has various levels. Up to $10,000 is major donor level 1. Then if you contribute $25,000, you become level 2. $50,000, you become major donor level 3. 100,000 level 4. And then if you contribute $250,000, you become a Arts Club Society. So major donors, you can go up to level 4 and then directly $250,000, you become an Arts Club Society member. Again, so Arts Club Society members has 3 to 4 gradings, $250,000, $500,000 and $1 million, which makes you the trustee circle member of the Art Club Society member. So these were the friends individual recognitions. Now we'll try and understand the club recognition. So it's not only the individual which gets the recognition. So the clubs are also encouraged to encourage their members to become to contribute to the Rotary Foundation, and that's why even clubs are given recognitions. One is the 100% Polaris Fellow Club. So if a club has all the members as Polaris Fellows, it becomes a 100% Polaris Fellow member club. You being a new club, it is easier for you to start as a Paul Harris Fellow club by encouraging the members to become Paul Harris Fellows. Then 100% Foundation Giving Club. Friends, if the club donates per capita, that is per member $100, but per member has to contribute only $25,000, but the average per capita should be $100. That is, supposing you got 30 members and the total contribution is $3,000. So per capita is $100. But the other condition also has to be fulfilled, that every member should contribute at least $25 to the foundation. If you contribute that way, you get 2 recognitions. One is the 100% foundation giving recognition, and then every Rotarian every year. This is the same criteria. It applies to both. You just contribute, ensure that the average contribution is $100 per member, and every member contributes at least $25 to the foundation. The other is 100% Paul Harris Society Club recognition. So if all your members are Paul Harris Society sustaining members or society members, the club gets a recognition of 100% Paul Harris Society Club. Then 100% Promise Clubs. What is a 100% Promise Club? If all the members commit to the foundation by way of legacy or estate or endowment, then it becomes a 100% Promise Club. So if you encourage the members to commit, and that commitment has to be minimum of $10,000. So if your members are willing to just commit that they would be giving by way of legacy, by way of testamentary, by way of estate, then it becomes a 100% Promise Club. Apart from this, these are additional given recognitions given at the district level, that is top 3 per capita in annual fund giving. So if your club has given annual fund, and normally this is a big advantage to smaller clubs who are contributing on the higher side. This is an advantage to smaller clubs which are contributing on the higher side, because supposing there's a club of 25 members and they have contributed $10,000, so their per capita becomes $400. As against a bigger club, they might be having 100 members, but if they are contributing even $20,000, their per capita becomes 200. So if you happen to be top 3 per capita in the annual fund giving, then also you get a certificate for that year from Rotary Foundation. So this is also an incentive, friends. You can look to contribute more and more to the Rotary Foundation. And then if club is contributing at least $1,500 to Polio Plus Fund, then End Polio Now certificate of appreciation is given to that club. The club from their funds has to contribute, or by collecting from the members, has to contribute $100,500 to the End Polio initiative, and then you get a certificate of appreciation, End Polio Now. And yes, now that Rotary clubs have also been given membership of the Rotary International, Rotractors can also get a Rotary giving certificate by cumulatively giving $100 per club. So if a Rotary club gives around $100 every year, it becomes a Rotary giving, it gets a Rotary giving certificate. So it is not a big criteria. $100 is not much now that Rotractors are also Rotarians. So if they join in together, I think every club, Rotary club, can get a certificate of Rotary giving certificate. Friends, this was all about the Rotary Foundation, and these are the sources from you can get the information: the Rotary Foundation Reference Guide, Rotary Foundation Annual Report, Rotary Learning Center, and that's about it. I'm ready for questions. Thank you. And I would like to thank CP Kate Barasa for having given me an opportunity to present my views before you. Thank you very much. And back to you, President.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a hand clap. Yes, without wasting time, I'd ask Isaac to come and chair the session of questions. Isaac?
Yes, thank you for this opportunity. I'm called Isaac Eilu, a member of Ngora Rotary Club Information. At this particular point, I think it's high time to welcome questions. Any member with a question? Yes.
I have a question. This is Grace. Looking at the individual recognitions, are these recognitions only for the members of already chartered clubs, or Ngora members can as well benefit from the recognitions? Thank you.
Individual, it's a very nice question, and I think I'd missed this point. Individual recognitions can be got even by outsiders, even if one is a non-Rotarian. Like if a person is giving $10,000, he gets a major donor recognition. If he starts giving $1,000 every year, he becomes a Polaris Fellow, Polaris Society. So it is not mandatory that you have to be a Rotarian or a chartered club. For individual recognitions, any person can get a recognition. Even outsiders can become an Endowment Fund, Bequest Society members and benefactor members also.
We still have anyone with a question?
Yes, thank you. I am Epi Timothy. I just wanted to get more clarity on the Rotary Peace Fellowship, how it operates.
Yeah, the Rotary Peace Fellowships is the flagship program of Rotary. Every year from all across the world, 130 people are selected for various fellowships. It goes through a process. Like for giving fellowships for 24-25, the process has started, will start in up to May 23. So up to 15 May 23, invitations have to be called for. How it happens is the either individual Rotary clubs or the districts, they have some people in the district, they have to inform the district, they have to bring in applications. They can be big people, like you can have a commissioner of police coming in or a big peace fellow coming in from outside. You can suggest their name to the district. Then the district committee, peace committee, conducts the interviews of that person. Once they feel that this person is fit to be recommended, then they recommend to the RI. Then the RI committee will have a interview with that person, and once they feel that yes, this person is fit to be a peace fellow, then they are accepted over there, and then the process starts. The whole amount is spent by Rotary Foundation right from their travel, their stay. There are 7 universities across the globe, including the Makerere University, which was the latest, which was enrolled 2 years back in Uganda. So 7 universities across the globe which are recognized. There are 2 types of fellowships. One is a diploma, that is for 1 year, and one is a graduation program for 3 years. After the completion of their training, they are sent for internship for 3 months to maybe 6 months, depending on their requirements. And once that is over, then they are awarded the Peace Fellow certificates, and they are put on ground. I hope
Yes.
that answers. Yeah.
Thank you. Our questions are done. I take this opportunity to welcome Mr. President.
Yes. Thank you very much. Maybe we should also give opportunity for people online. If you're online and you have some questions there, please raise up your hand and give your question.
I think I will just interrupt Praveen Chandra Sheth from Gujarat, India. He has said that he wishes to donate $50 from his monthly pension. Sir, you can donate to your district through your club, or you can donate to your district 3060 for the Rotary Foundation. Thank you, sir.
Yes, do we still have more?
President, I have one request.
Yes.
Thank you very much, amazing President. And I want to thank you very much, my friend, Past President Vijay, for such an excellent presentation. As the new club advisor, I want to make a very special request to you to mentor this new club in the Rotary Foundation, especially in learning giving and also understanding utilization. We need to come up with a strategy that enables the new members to appreciate why we give. We also need to make sure that we mentor them to appreciate where the money goes, and also to organize some visits to some of the Rotary projects in the country so that they can come on board in terms of an all-giving club, but also a club that actually stands and supports the engine of Rotary, and that's the Rotary Foundation. So my request to you, PP Vijay, is to accept to be one of the mentors in this very specific area. I know you mentor across different areas. You've done it for us at the Rotary Club of Sunday, but in this very specific area, I would like to work with you to make sure that the club is well grounded on the foundation. Thank you.
I shall always be available.
Thank you. Thank you, Past President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, let's clap once more again. It's very wonderful. That's very wonderful. And thank you very much, Rotarian Vijay, for your support. Without wasting time, we are going to our next agenda, which is going to be the vote of thanks. is going to be given to us by Dr. Martin Oluge.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I've been given a task to give the vote of thanks. And we want to say that you're very grateful, Dr. Vijay, for the humility and the heart of service that you've given us. Most of you are grateful that you accepted to shift the date from last Tuesday, and you've made it today. It is such a great honor for us. From a man with a high CV and very humble, we are blessed as Rotary Club of Ngora in Foundation, to you and to our club advisor, CP Kate, for the love and the heart of service that you've shown us. Thank you so much for taking us through the introduction to the Rotary Foundation. We are a new team, we are still learning, and we are so grateful for today's topic. We have picked some, and we are promising to learn more. And thank you, CP Kate, for asking amazing President Timothy to take us through more lessons about the Rotary Foundation. There is no other better way to say thank you to you, Vijay, other than saying thank you so very much, and we are very grateful. Have a blessed morning.
Thank you, and it was my pleasure. And I forgot to thank all my friends from all across the globe who have come to join me, right from my district in India to London to Nepal, and of course the African nations. Thank you very much. And yes, Dominic all the way from Jamaica.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much once more again. We are now going for our next agenda, which is the